It's time to listen to Healed in the Field.
Hi, neighbor, what do you know and what do you say? Hi, neighbor, throw all your worries away. Come on and shake my hand and let a grin do the rest. It makes you feel so grand to get your chin off your chest. I'm shouting, hi, neighbor, time to play and say hi.
Hi, neighbors, hi. This is Healed in the Field with Yuma's newest farm program. 15 minutes of farm news and views, along with some recorded music, brought to you by D.W. Taylor Sales Company, Arizona's distributor for California liquid fertilizer. Of course, the city folks can listen in, too, and welcome. Well, to start off this morning, let's take a quick look at the farming conditions in Arizona and here in Yuma. Agriculture, properly speaking, is the oldest industry known in what we now call the state of Arizona. The predecessor of today's Indian used primitive irrigation systems, compelling the land he lived on to support him to a large degree. Beans, squash, and cotton, the latter an importation from what is now Mexico, were common crops of the Hohokam, the forgotten ones who vanished centuries ago. Agriculture in Arizona means irrigation agriculture. When water is added to the rich soil under the Arizona sun, the results are astonishing. It is irrigation that makes possible the large yields of cotton, alfalfa, small grains, melons, lettuce, dates, and citrus fruits from which the state is noted. Man-made oases, the fertile districts, have made the desert bloom. Yuma, 3 miles east of the meeting point of the Colorado and Gila rivers, is set on bluffs overlooking the Colorado and on sandy rock hills back of the bluffs. One of the largest artificially irrigated areas in Arizona adjoins the city on 3 sides. Its rich soil supports extensive citrus, date, and pecan orchards, fields of cotton, alfalfa, wheat, lettuce, and carrots, while miles of unreclaimed sandy waste and desert lie beyond. In every direction, jagged, fantastic mountains show on the horizon. The Gila Mountains eastward, the rugged mountain peaks of California to the northwest. To the southwest, the ranges of Mexico, which border Arizona 26 miles south of Yuma. You know, it's a fact. The annual rainfall in the United States varies from 1.5 inches in Death Valley, California, to more than 130 inches in Tillamook County, Oregon. Which always puts a picture in my mind, a picture of a little duck walking down a dusty road with a knapsack over his shoulder, a sign thereon which says, Oregon or bust. In the United States, the average flax yield is 9 bushels to the acre. Here in Yuma, the average is in the neighborhood of 30. Some fertilized local crops run as much as 40 bushels to the acre, with reports of even higher yields. Many of the highest yields in the valley have been fertilized by California liquid fertilizer. Farmers know that there are many factors that influence the yields in addition to fertilizers, including proper preparation of the soil, planting time, correct method of planting, soil moisture at planting time, irrigation at proper intervals, control of weeds, and efficient operation of harvesting equipment. D.W. Taylor Sales, Arizona's distributor of California liquid fertilizers, have made quite a study of Yuma Valley soil conditions and crop requirements during the past 3 years, and several changes have been made in fertilizer mixtures. Soil conditioners have been developed to meet the soil requirements in the Yuma Valley. The soil here is classified as calcareous, containing a high amount of calcium. You know, 2,600 pounds to the acre is considered very high, and here the amount runs up to 60,000 pounds to the acre. But this high content ties up the plant food and renders it unavailable. And it's like putting a mask on your face, tying your hands behind your back, placing a big plate of fried chicken in front of you. It's so close, yet you can't eat it, can't touch it. However, by applying liquid sulfur from D.W. Taylor Sales, distributor of California liquid fertilizer, this calcium oxide is converted into calcium sulfate, or in other words, gypsum. This will improve your yield, improve the soil texture, improve water penetration, release tied-up plant foods. If you'd like to have your soil correctly analyzed, call 1331J, D.W. Taylor Sales Company. After a soil analysis, The correct recommendations will be made for your crop requirements. To the slow and easy tune of Twilight Time, played for you by the Three Sons, our saying for the day. You know, animals are such agreeable friends. They ask no questions, pass no criticisms. The Song of the Lazy Farmer. It makes me mad as I can be when neighbor happens to catch me working hard around my place. He gets a grin upon his face and says with a sarcastic smirk, "I thought you didn't like to work." Well, some folks like him apparently still don't know my philosophy. They seem to think I hate to toil, that I don't like to till the soil or harvest crops and feed the stock. Of course, that's all just poppycock. I don't mind work and sweat a bit if there is some return in it. But why should I work just for fun or when the rush jobs all are done? When neighbor's got his work all through, he looks for something else to do. Because of some peculiar quirk, he actually invents some work. He wouldn't really have to do just to use up a day or two. But I, upon the other hand, will rush through jobs to beat the band, so I'll have time to catch some fish or anything that I might wish. My neighbor does no more than me except unnecessary things, you see. If he rates a price for that, I will gladly eat your hat. I won't admit that I'm lazy. I think that I'm just smart, by gee. The other day, a friend of mine asked me, why shouldn't farmers relax? Well, they should. You know, years ago, work was the thing held in highest regard by farm people. Play was looked down upon. It was unheard of for a farm family to have a vacation, but thanks to the modern world, this attitude is changing. Today, 10 times as many farm families plan and take vacations as did so a generation ago. Automobiles, improved highways, and even airplanes have put country people within easy reach of picnic grounds, fairs, community organizations, movies, athletic events, and various other commercial and recreational facilities and services in county seats and towns. Not discounting modern machinery as a time saver, time left to enjoy the lighter things in life. Many state extension services now promote vacation camps for farm women and children. Tours and trips for 4-H clubs are increasingly popular. Camping in state and national parks and forests draw more and more people of all ages. State line stations report more and more of the automobile tourists are from country homes. So it just goes to show that farmers and other people in rural communities are stepping out and relaxing. You know, if wheat prices were cut in half by the farmer, it would save the average family food budget only 10 or 15 cents a week. The farmer only gets 1/4 of the money the consumer spends for a loaf of bread. It's high time the American people turn their thoughts to increase supplies of beef for the future. The western cattle country has reached its limit as a breeding ground for a major portion of the beef consumed in America. We may expect small increases of various kinds as pressure for grazing land and the need for better range treatment develop. A number of western cattlemen say they never again would attempt to carry as many animals on their ranches as they had in the past, however. protection of their grasses has called for a more conservative policy. Although cattlemen of the West have made a vital contribution to the development of the country and will continue to be an important segment of American agriculture, the rate of population increase and the expected large demand for beef in the next 10 years can't be forgotten. Shall we adopt a tariff policy toward Canada that will stimulate expansion of herds in the prairie provinces? Are there possibilities of expanding cattle production south of the border when foot and mouth disease is conquered? Some Texas and Old South cattlemen insist that the next huge source of feeder cattle logically will come from the Old Southeast. They point to the development of crossbred hot country cattle such as Brahmas or Brahmas, whichever you prefer, and improvement of grasses and sanitation as sure signs. There's some concern for the future of the livestock man in the upper Mississippi Valley. Must he continue to pay higher and higher prices for feeder cattle? Or will it be more economical for him to establish breeding herds or rely on his neighbors to do so? The investment in a breeding beef herd is large, including adequate water supplies, fencing, cheap and adequate pastures, and some kind of shelter in addition to cattle. There is some doubt if we are going to be much interested in meat supplies overseas, where communication lines might be shut off immediately by war. For the time being, at least, we have a big job surveying the situation on the continent of North America. You know, increased production is coming through modern farming methods. The growers are experiencing increased yields through scientific soil analysis. Well, how about it? Do you actually know what percentage of calcium, magnesium, or nitrogen are in your soils? The D.W. Taylor Sales Company, distributor of California liquid fertilizer products, has all the scientific laboratories and other facilities available for the Yuma Valley farmer. It takes just a short while to take a soil analysis, but time that must be taken if you farm to your best advantage nowadays. D.W. Taylor wants to supply the farmer with all the information that he needs in order that he may judge for himself the quantity and type of materials required for his soil and crops. Aunt Maud says in those helps around the home for the farm wife, leftover pumpkin or squash may be utilized by adding half a cup or so to cornbread batter. The cooked pumpkin or squash will make it soft and moist. You know, I once heard a story about a man that stayed at a boarding house. The woman that ran the boarding house was a great one for cornbread. She served cornbread for breakfast, cornbread for supper, and even made the sandwiches that were to be taken out for lunch out of cornbread. So one day this fellow asked her if he couldn't have a white bread sandwich in his lunch sometime. So that very day, the landlady went down to the store and bought a loaf of white bread, her first in many years. The next day, as the young man opened his lunch pail, he thought, "Oh, boy, at last a white bread sandwich." And sure enough, he opened the wrapper, and there was his white bread sandwich, a slice of white bread between two slices of cornbread. If any of you folks have any helpful hints around the farm or in the kitchen, send them to Healed in the Field, care of station KYUM. Maybe you have stumbled across something that's a big time and labor saver to you. By letting us know, we can put it on this program so your neighbors will be helped along in their work. Also, if you have something new coming up in your local area, maybe a box social coming up, or your neighbor's having trouble getting his crop in and needs help, let us know. Write to Healed in the Field, care of KYUM. Well, here are the late stock reports. Last night, Yuma lettuce shippers had a good demand for best quality lettuce, with 5 dozen packs selling for $3.50 to $3.75 per crate, FOB Yuma, and 4 dozen packs selling for $5, but supply very limited. The Imperial Valley demand was slow, with 5 selling for $3.50 and 4's $5. Expected loadings for last night's lettuce harvest were 55 cars out of Yuma and 160 from Imperial Valley. Carrots from Yuma were in strong demand for medium to large size at $3.75 FOB per crate, and demand slow on the medium to small at $3 to $3.25 per crate. Due to the high number of cars of lettuce on track throughout the East and the relatively high shipments, a slightly lower market is expected here today. Yuma vegetable shippers find their lettuce and carrots selling at the top of the eastern markets, with 4 dozen lettuce at $7.50 in New York, $7.25 in Philadelphia, and carrots $6 to $7 throughout most of the eastern markets. Information supplied by quotations on Crispo Teletype, Government Market News Service. Well, here's the late weather report and forecast. The current degree is 48, and the low this morning was 46. Relative humidity was 89. High yesterday was 65. Sunrise this morning is 7:37. El Centro reported 46 degrees this morning. Here's a weather forecast. Scattered clouds today and tonight, becoming partly cloudy with showers in the north portion of Arizona Sunday. Snow about 4,000 feet. Well, I'm afraid the time's up for this morning, but I'll be back next Saturday morning with more news and views, recorded music, too, just for the farm folks in and around Yuma. Brought to you by D.W. Taylor Sales Company, Arizona's distributor for California liquid fertilizer. This is Hild in the Field saying,
My neighbor,